If your peaceful community aquarium suddenly turned into an underwater crime scene, it is probably because you are making one of the 10 deadly angelfish mistakes that ruin community tanks. Most hobbyists buy an angelfish thinking they just bought a harmless, elegant centerpiece for their display. But setting up a successful angelfish community tank requires understanding that this is an Amazonian cichlid with an ambush predator engine. When you build an angelfish aquarium setup without respecting its wild instincts, the entire system pays the price. Hit that subscribe button right now before your centerpiece fish files for eviction against the rest of your community tank, and let's fix your setup before biology collects its invoice. Let's count them down from number 10. Mistake number 10 is picking the wrong angelfish tank mates by stocking slender, torpedo-shaped schooling fish. The classic pet store myth says if you raise juvenile angelfish alongside neon tetras, they will grow up as friends. In freshwater biology, there is no friendship. There is only mouth diameter versus prey size. In their natural habitat, angelfish are crepuscular ambush hunters. At night, when the tank lights go off and small fish rest near the bottom, the angelfish uses its protruding jaw to strike. The day your angelfish's mouth circumference exceeds the body height of your neons, cardinals, or rasboras, your school becomes a midnight snack. Stop buying torpedo-shaped fish. Choose deep-bodied angelfish tank mates like bleeding heart, lemon, diamond, or rosy tetras. Their tall profile physically cannot fit down an adult angelfish's throat. Mistake number 9 is planning an angelfish tank setup that prioritizes horizontal length over vertical depth. The standard 55-gallon tank is the biggest trap in the hobby. It sounds large at 4 feet long, but it is only 12 inches wide, leaving barely 15 inches of vertical swimming height once substrate is added. A mature angelfish easily reaches 8 to 12 inches in vertical fin height. Forcing a tall, disc-shaped fish into a shallow angelfish tank causes chronic spinal compression and bent fin rays because the fish is constantly dragging along the substrate and surface lids. Vertical fish demand vertical gallons. The minimum water depth for an adult angelfish aquarium is 18 to 24 inches. Skip narrow tanks and pick a 40-gallon breeder, a 75-gallon, or tall dimensions that give their anatomy room to glide. Mistake number 8 is blasting your angelfish aquarium with high-velocity water current. The angelfish natural habitat consists of calm Amazonian floodplains and slow blackwater tributaries. Their broad, flattened bodies act like giant sails against moving water. When forced to battle powerful wave makers or high-output filters, they burn non-stop energy just to stay upright. This continuous swimming builds chronic lactic acid and spikes stress hormones, crashing their immune barrier. Within weeks, the tiny blood vessels in their delicate fins collapse, triggering severe bacterial fin rot. Your angelfish setup needs high biological media volume, not turbulent flow. Use a spray bar aimed at the glass, baffle your outflow, or run large sponge filters to keep the water pristine and the current gentle. Mistake number 7 is keeping slow-moving angelfish with fin-nipping tank mates. Angelfish have elongated pelvic filaments packed with sensory receptors used to feel their surroundings. To fast-schooling fish like tiger bobs, serpent tetras, or black-skirt tetras, those trailing ribbons look like live worms. Because angelfish glide slowly, they cannot escape high-speed schooling attacks. Nippers quickly shred these filaments down to the body wall. Once an angelfish loses its sensory fins, it retreats in pain, stops feeding, and dies from secondary infections. Pair your centerpiece with tranquil companions like adult rummy-nosed tetras, harlequin rasboras, hatchetfish, or Corydoras catfish. Mistake number 6 is buying a pack of 6 young angelfish and expecting lifelong community peace. When you buy quarter-sized juveniles, they school happily because schooling is a survival reflex in young cichlids. But around 6 to 8 months of age, sexual maturity kicks in, and the angelfish male-female dynamic fractures that school into a brutal hierarchy. The dominant alpha claims the open water, while subordinate omega fish are relentlessly chased, cornered behind filter pipes, and starved out. If you want multiple angelfish, either keep a single centerpiece, buy an established bonded pair, or keep 6 or more in a 75-gallon angelfish tank heavily broken up with dense hardscape. Mistake number 5 is failing to plan for angelfish breeding in a community tank. When 2 angelfish form an angelfish pair and lay angelfish eggs on a plant leaf or heater, the peaceful dynamic ends immediately. The pair views every other fish as an egg predator and claims 70% of the tank volume. Docile tetras and bottom dwellers are violently shoved into top corners. If the eggs hatch into angelfish fry, the parents become even more aggressive, battering tank mates through non-stop territorial charges. If an angelfish pair begins breeding, you must either move them to a dedicated 29-gallon breeding tank or add full-height physical barriers that block line of sight and give other fish safe territory. Mistake number 4 is keeping an angelfish aquarium at cool community temperatures. Generic community fish might tolerate 72 to 74 degrees, but reproducing the warmth of the angelfish natural habitat requires 78 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Below 76 degrees, their digestive enzymes slow down. Food ferments inside the gut instead of digesting properly. This metabolic crash weakens their immune system and triggers the microscopic parasite hexameta, leading to stringy white feces, organ wasting, and fatal hole-in-the-head disease. Always run a reliable heater set to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, backed by an external digital temperature controller. Mistake number 3 is designing an open angelfish setup with 0 vertical sightline breaks. Minimalist tanks with open water and short carpet plants look clean, but they create a non-stop war zone. Without vertical visual barriers, dominant fish maintain continuous eye contact with subordinates, keeping stress hormones permanently elevated. In nature, angelfish hide among submerged root tangles and tall vegetation. Break up your angelfish aquarium setup with tall Amazon swords, giant Vallisneria, and vertical driftwood branches. When a chased fish can turn behind wood and vanish from sight, territorial aggression drops immediately. Mistake number 2 is dumping dry, buoyant flakes directly onto the surface during daily angelfish feeding. Angelfish rush the surface aggressively, gulping air as they grab dry food. Inside their compressed body cavity, dry processed flakes absorb water and expand rapidly against the swim bladder and internal organs. This causes acute bloat and swim bladder malfunction, leaving the fish floating helplessly upside down or stuck at the surface. Pre-soak dry pellets so they expand before ingestion, or switch to slow-sinking granules. Regularly supplement angelfish feeding with moisture-rich foods like frozen daphnia, brine shrimp, and spirulina to maintain healthy gut motility. And finally, mistake number 1, buying fragile, heavily mutated angelfish types like super veils for a busy community aquarium. Commercial farms selectively breed these angelfish types for ridiculously oversized fins. In a real community tank, those heavy fin rays buckle under their own weight, crippling the fish's ability to swim and compete for food. These oversized fins have poor blood circulation, making them open magnets for fin rot and curious nippers. Stick to standard wild-type angelfish types like silver, zebra, or Manakapuru redback angelfish. They have the natural agility, strong fin structure, and immune resilience needed to thrive for years. Stop treating your angelfish like a fragile decoration or an impulse centerpiece. Build a tall angelfish setup, hold the temperature at 80 degrees, respect their cichlid instincts, and pick deep-bodied angelfish tank mates that won't become midnight snacks. If this guide helped protect your angelfish community tank from total collapse, hit that subscribe button and join the Fish Tank Mastery family to see which schooling fish actually thrive alongside your centerpiece. Check out our ultimate schooling fish guide right on screen. Until next time, keep your systems balanced, your glass spotless, and your curiosity flowing.